Well, you may say some bad things about me that are true, but you can't say much bad about our buddy Harry Keene, who now joins us here this morning. Well, Harry, he knows you a little better, so maybe there's a few things that he could say about you that I don't know about. I only know you're a good guy because you've been good to me, but maybe Clay has some dirt on you that I don't know about.
Well, I'm going to tell you that the depth of the dirt goes both ways here. I've got a few things. About one day when he was practice putting and hit it sideways and stuff like that, but we're not going to get into the character. We just talked about his, huh?
I did do that.
Yes, you did, but then you made it. Otherwise, we were going to fight on about the fifth or sixth hole out there, but you made it coming back. I remember.
I knocked it further away than I was, and Harry stormed off the green.
Had a little temper tantrum.
Yeah, he was mad. Well, of course, he was already in his pocket. There's not a lot he can do.
No, that's true. We had to count whatever you made.
Yeah, but we're on the next tee, and we had been up all morning over this other group, and we got to the tee, and Harry walks to the back of the tee, and the way we worked in that Fourball format, he always hit first. So I stood to the side and looked at him. I said, "Dude, we're still up." He goes, "You made that?" I said, "Yeah, I made it." He goes, "Oh, I didn't even watch."
No, I didn't.
I didn't even.
I was so. I can't use that word on the radio. I was upset.
He was discombobulated.
Oh man! So where was
only Coach Holtz was discombobulated more than me.
So Harry, where was this Fourball at? Clay was kind of telling me about it before he came on. I had some buddies that just participated. Actually, won. Shout out Chris Eckes, Dalton Frost. They just won their first flight this past weekend. Where was y'all's Fourball at?
At Conway. Yeah.
Okay.
At Cadron Valley Clay.
That's it. Yeah, and we finished second in the championship flight.
Yeah. Well, you finished second. I kind of applauded.
We won a set of woods or something. We won something when we turned around and sold quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
There you go. So on the subject of Fourball, let's say Drew and I wanted to participate in one next year. I think there's 7 flights in the one that we would play. We would probably be in the 6th or 7th flight. Well, guys, what's the key to winning or getting, in y'all's case, close to winning a Fourball competition? Because it seems like y'all could give us some good pieces of advice this morning.
My advice is get a partner who's better than you.
What about you, Clay?
That's how you do.
I would say, listen, I don't know what the right advice is, but there will be times when you will be mad at the other guy, and just make sure that he's somebody that you love and that you can get over the mad, because there will be, because you'll look at him as like, I can't believe you did that. And that's the way Harry and I were, but we loved each other, so it didn't really matter. At the end of the day, we accepted what the other guy did. But I don't think we finished out of the money ever, Harry, did we?
Maybe not, no. And I tell you what's worse than that, when you pick your Fourball partner, like you and I did a couple of times, what's worse is playing the father and son when your son is about 20 shots better than you are. You're going to disappoint him, and it's going to hurt everybody in the family, believe me. So.
Yeah, they also won the father-son, so I'm talking about the state father-son.
Yeah.
Harry's son won the state amateur 5 times, I think, so that's a pretty good partner.
Jeez.
Yes, it is. That was not hand-picked. That was hereditary,
Yeah.
Well, it works out. We're talking with Harry Keene, longtime sports writer here. It's one of Clay's buddies this morning. Harry, I know for a number of years there was that entertaining event, the coaches and communication staff golf tournament, and I know it's been at Paradise Valley, and you guys, it's probably been at other places that I did not attend. But, guys, they need to bring that back next year. I played Coach Pittman has played in a 4-man scramble that I got to participate in with Tommy and Brett Good and someone else. We played in something. Do they need to bring that back this year, fellas?
Well, as much as I'd like to play with somebody, nobody wants to be on my team these days. I can tell you that.
One of the things that you probably don't know, Ty, because you're too young, and that's not we're not going to blame you for being too young. But they used to have, when you said coaches golf tournament, I thought you were going to go back to the the 70s and 60s when George Billingsley put together up at Bella Vista, and then they moved it to Hot Springs Village, the national coaches golf tournament, and they included sports writers on a national scale. Not every sports writer in Arkansas got to play, but a few did. My father did, and Harry did. Mm-hmm. And I think Harry got in some pairings that, like, included Frank Broyles and Darrell Royal, like the premier pairings where people are actually out there gallerying, right, Harry?
Yeah. The thing about it was Coach Broyles wanted to play in the same group as Coach Royal, but he didn't want to ride with him. And so they put a coach with the media, and I got to ride with Coach Royal, I don't know, 5-6 rounds. And, yeah, no matter where Coach Broyles hit it, the crowd would applaud, and no matter where Coach Royal hit it, nobody reacted.
Dead silence.
Yeah, he once told me, I don't think I can repeat that on the air either, that it was like being a, how should I put it, redheaded stepchild, I believe was that's a cleaned up version of what he told me. It was like being the Texas coach playing in Arkansas all the time. Yeah. Good guys, both of them. Fun to play with. When
we tell people that they were best friends, they look at you in disbelief, right, Harry?
Oh, yeah. And they were. I mean, it was yeah. The competition, though, was fierce. You would think they hated each other. But as soon as it was over, it was over. And, yeah, they were great friends. It's just hard to believe that two guys could compete as hard as they did on the football field and the golf course, too, and care about each other that much. Yeah, care about each other. Yeah.
I think about a relationship, guys, that I have with one of my buddies that is a diehard Ole Miss fan, and we compete in basketball, we compete in golf, we compete in everything, and I hated to watch how happy he was after Ole Miss won the national championship. But he's still my buddy, and I'll still see him this weekend. And kind of like Clay, you just directed at Harry, I think it's just hard for Arkansas fans to fathom their strongest ambassador being friends with maybe one of the strongest ambassadors that has ever come out of Texas. But as you said, that's just how it was back in the day.
Well, that's the way. And I was 20-something years old, and Coach Royal had already won a national championship. I couldn't do anything for him, and yet he treated me as if I was an equal. If you got a second, he invited the last group of tournaments was at Hot Springs Village, and he said he didn't call your wife by name. He would call her your bride, and he said, "Why don't you and your bride come over to the place tonight? We're having a little a picker in town." Okay, so we go over there, and guy sitting in the middle of the floor, short hair, T-shirt, playing songs about all kinds of stuff that some of it a little off the record. But anyway, we get ready to leave, and Coach Royal said, Harry, I want you to meet this guy. He said, he's getting ready to change record labels, and you're going to hear a lot from him. Harry King and his bride, this is Willie Nelson. Wow. I'm indebted forever to Coach Royal for letting me play in that thing, and Coach Royal for introducing me to Willie Nelson.
Holy cow!
Yep.
That's awesome. And to me,
that was Willie Nelson before he was Willie Nelson, though.
That's about 6 months before Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain.
Yep.
Oh man, that's great.
Well, they were best friends. Darrell and Willie. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they played a lot of golf together.
Oh yeah. Well, at one time, I think Willie had his own golf course, and he made par whatever he wanted. Okay, that's a par 7, and that's a par 9, and yeah, it's kind of a different world.
So, Ty, when I was in college, Harry and I played in a Fourball at Old Riverdale, which doesn't exist anymore. It's down by where Rebsamen is.
Okay.
A little bit downriver. It's now a business park.
Yeah.
And we played against in the championship flight, and we drew two of my college teammates, Jay Fullerton and Jimmy Hall. And Harry was at his peak. I probably was close to my peak. And those guys birdied the first 3 holes, so we're 3 down after 3. and we're on the fourth tee. And this is the intensity that Harry is like, hey, don't throw a shoe now. We're not losing to these guys. And that match went 3 extra holes, and I think there were 16 out of the 21 holes that were birdied.
There was a bunch. I remember that.
Mean, he'd make a birdie, I'd make one. Sometimes we'd make birdies together, and there might be 3 of the 4 guys playing the hole made a birdie, and it was the most incredible. I mean, putts were made from everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
A lot of laughing, a lot of fun. We lost 1 down on extra holes, and it was a heck of a match.
I just am not good enough to compete first. We're talking about the height of your golf. I will say, getting a chance to play with Chuck about 3 weeks ago, he encouraged me to play more golf and it's just all about practice, getting out there, and like you say, you don't have to play 18 every time. Just get on the range and hit a little bit.
Yeah, and Harry and I have both played in regular groups where the other golfers were not nearly our level, but we could find a game. And, I mean, one of the famous games was Paul Eells, Orville Henry, Jim Elder, and Harry King. Every Friday, right, Harry?
Yep, 9:15, North Hills. Every Friday.
And nobody was burning par in those matches.
Nope.
I mean, but
I believe it was Orville who described it as the throats versus the scribes. $3 bet, dollar, no presses, no nothing. Yeah, it was it was so competitive that
hold every putt.
Jim Elder, do what?
You hold every putt.
Oh yeah, and Jim Elder one time had a par putt of about 12 feet on 17, and Orville had hit it in there about 10 feet putting for birdie, and they were on the same line. And instead of showing him the line, Jim turned around and putted it backwards off the green, so he would not show Orville the line.
Oh, man. Harry, you bring up Jim Elder. I know that the scholarship fund is coming to an end. You've helped it. You and Mrs. Susan, who I'm forever indebted to, have helped about 60 students over the years. For those who are unfamiliar with the Jim Elder Good Sports Fund, it's a scholarship that's gone on more than 2 decades and helps students at Arkansas, Harding, UCA, across the state. Just kind of in very short terms, just kind of break down what do you think that has meant to many students and just what it's meant to you personally, being a part of that legacy, Harry?
Well, it was great being a part of it. Jim was a dear friend. He really was. And I'm, after we got started, we did the golf tournament a couple of times, raised some money, but we had somebody that helped us quite a bit. And Susie and I have talked about it. I think we probably gave away, over the 20-something years, we gave away about $1 million. None of us, of course, took any money or anything like that. It was all about helping people. And she has helped some Kid League baseball programs in Little Rock and North Little Rock. Jim was such a fan of baseball that I'm proud to have been a part of it. But it reflects on him and his daughter. It really does. That's the way Jim was. Help people. I know he stopped on Interstate 630 before on the way to work and helped a guy who didn't have any money for gas. That's Jim Elder.
And I know Clay you mentioned he's one of your friends, and Clay had a chance to work with him as well. It seems, and for obvious reasons, I never got a chance to meet him, but it seems like his heart was always in the right place from everyone that I talked to that encountered him, even in the slightest of circumstances.
He really was. I sort of say one of a kind, but Eells were much like him. They're both kind of cut of a different cloth. That's all I can say is that
it's funny that you say that, because it was not long after Paul had gotten here. I was in Tulsa working there, and I was aware that Paul had moved to town. He hadn't done any games yet. It was still in the spring and early summer, but he had y'all had already gotten tight in that regular Friday golf game, right? And my dad called me and he says, "Hey, the new guy from Nashville says he's too good to be true. I'm he's just he says he just drips with goodness and says it can't be true. It just can't be true. And he says you'd think that he was another Jim Elder. And, that's not possible. There's only one Jim Elder. That was my dad's words. And it was, sometime in the football season, it was a Little Rock game, and I got to play in that group. And my dad says, oh, by the way, said he is just like Jim Elder. Yeah. And, I mean, you could not have a finer compliment, and you couldn't have been more right.
No. The first time we ever played together, Orville and Jim and I had played before, but Paul had never been in our group, and we're at North Hills, and Paul hit a snap hook off number one, and Jim and Paul and I had played before, and you always reached and hit a mulligan. You know, that's what you did, first hole. Nobody ever hit practice balls or anything to warm up. And he hits a snap hook, and he reaches in his back pocket, and with a deadpan, Orville said, Paul, are you going to play or are you going to practice?
Yeah. No mulligans with my dad. You played it down. I don't care if you're on a rock.
We went through that.
I mean, it's like, hey, if you don't like it, get you a rock club. Well, who's heard of rock clubs? But, I mean, I heard that like when I was 14, playing at Fair Park, your ball's on a rock, then get you a rock club. Pull out something that you don't use much, get you a rock club, because you're going to play it off the rock.
Paul got comped to some kind of tournament at Pine Bluff, and it was a great deal because there were 3 courses down there, and you rotated, you played each one of them one day, and they gave you a quota, 2 points for a par, 1 point for a bogey, and your team has to make 17 points or 19 or whatever it was. And he got comped to the thing, and I'll be flipped if we didn't win our flight, and it was like $300 for merchandise. I said, Paul, we got to go to Pine Bluff Country Club. He said, I can't go. What do you mean we can't go? He said, I can't take that. Paul, we won the flight. No, I know, but they comped me, and I can't take it. I won't say almost hit him because I didn't almost hit him. I couldn't hit him for anything in the world. But yeah, something like that. Come on. Finally, I talked him into it, and I think he got 4 dozen golf balls and some slacks or something. But that's just him.
We went, it was me, my dad, and him went to, I think we went to, what was the old course in Pine Bluff that's shut down? Great course.
Rosswood.
Yeah, I guess it was Ross. Yes, Pine Bluff Country Club in Rosswood, right?
Right. Harbor
and so
Oaks,
we went to Rosswood, and so we got to the practice tee to warm. This is in a tournament, individual tournament, and we got to warm up. And I, 45 minutes to warm up, and then we were paired together in the first round, and we all went to our flights the next round, and we got to the first tee, and Paul hit the most awful shot, and I said, 45 minutes to warm up, and that's what you got? And my dad got on to me severely. He says, do you know that he went to the practice tee for 45 minutes and signed autographs and talked to people and never got to hit a warm-up shot?
Never hit a ball. Yeah. Not surprised.
Just the nicest person. Now, me and Harry and my dad, we didn't do that. We would just turn a deaf ear and hit balls.
That's right. Nobody wanted me to sign autographs anyway.
Let's go. Well, Harry, we appreciate you going through some great stories this morning, and it's always good to catch up. And I'm sorry you had to deal with Clay back and forth with Fourball back in the day.
Well, I just turn my back. It's not hard.
Well, all right, man. We'll catch up at some point down the road. Appreciate it again, Harry, for waking up early with us.
Glad to do it, you guys. See ya.
All right, that is Harry Keene, longtime sports writer in this state.
He was the best.
Not lacking stories.
Hall of Famer.
Well, not lacking stories at all. That is.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.